Welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. With me, I have the DJ and the Professor.
Hello.
So, welcome to another episode. We have been having a lot of fun playing games, reading out through all the different types of news to try and find some great content for you and make it a lot of fun. First up, Professor, you were saying something about Star Citizen?
Yeah, the last week's been a bit of a roller coaster for Star Citizen community.
What's happening?
It started off with the with Cloud Imperium Games coming out and saying that you'd have to pay to watch the live stream of their convention, which understandably pissed off a lot of people, considering a lot of people have spent $5,000 buying concept art for a game that hasn't been released.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what? $5,000 for concept art?
Yeah, more than that. People spend thousands of dollars on this game, and it's still in very, very early alpha. So they're basically paying for concept art because they come out and announce a new spaceship, and they're like, you can buy the spaceship for $50 and you'll have it when the game releases. And then, well, you know how it goes. Hasn't come out yet.
So in other words, this is basically the computer programmer's version of a Ponzi scheme.
Possibly. I mean, they haven't cut and run yet.
Yeah, but they're not really actually doing anything.
Yeah, it's very, very slow progress.
And how long have they been going this for?
I believe the Kickstarter launched in 2012.
Okay, so they could be writing a line of code a day and still have something to show for it other than...
Yeah, so they basically put out a crowdfunding project on Kickstarter, and made so much money that they just kept going and going and adding more and more to the game.
Mm-hmm.
They're now up to like $200 million from between Kickstarter, other donations, and ship sales.
$200 million.
Yeah,
man.
And they still haven't they haven't completed this game with $200 million. Like,
they haven't.
They're a fifth of the way through the budget that was used to make one of the most forgettable movies of all time, Avatar.
Oh, what about the millions of sequels they're working on all at once?
Yeah, but are they all going to be coming out now, though, that Disney's taking control? Are they actually going to be released as movies to the cinema, or is it going to be straight to Netflix?
So anyway, I've just pulled up an article. GTA 5 costs $265 million.
This had better be some amazingly intense game that's going to blow the socks off everyone for decades.
Well, that's the thing. The guy who's making it has a pedigree. It's Chris Roberts, who worked on Wing Commander.
That's fine. You can have a pedigree, but still be completely useless, pathetic. I've seen some dogs out there that have got outstanding pedigrees, but they still sniff each other's butts and fail to go fetch a ball properly. Like, just because this guy's got a pedigree of having worked, or like, was he the main driving force behind Wing Commander, or was he just one of the people?
I believe he's like the main force behind it.
Okay.
Like, his big point about Star Citizen was that he wanted to have full creative control, and that he never went back to EA because they wouldn't give him full control for a Wing Commander sequel.
Okay. And leaving EA, he's probably making more money now, even though they got the loot boxes. But yeah.
Yeah.
So is there any end in sight that there is actually going to be a game, or is this just going to be another one of those never-ending stories?
Honestly, after the fiasco with the convention, I'm starting to feel like it is becoming a money grab. Like, up until then, I was willing to believe that it is a hugely ambitious game, and it's not unreasonable that it's taking them years, considering how much content they want to put in there. But it is taking them a very long time to get even the basics done. And This latest move just seems so greedy and out of touch that I've lost any confidence I might have had in them.
This is just looking completely and utterly pathetic. Oh,
Yeah.
Just looking at the page here, they got, because there seems to be a lot of vitriol and outrage that is unfairly directed towards community. If you're upset, you should be upset at me. They're all your company, your employees. Suck it up. Marketing is the one that's charging for all the bits and pieces. I'm sorry, but Christopher Roberts, you're a tool.
Yeah, so they have retracted it and they have decided to make it free. Their justification was that they wanted to have professional quality live stream across 2 stages. But I really find it hard to believe, considering how much they've spent on it. Well, people have spent on it that they don't have the money to put aside for some streaming software and cameras. They've done it in the past, basically.
Like, run it on Twitch.
I believe that's what they did for the last couple of years.
Like, the guy is deluded. He's got a god complex going, it seems. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Why do I get that feeling? This whole Star Citizen saga, it just reminds me of Duke Nukem and how it took a shitload of time and a shitload of money.
Hang on. To start with, Duke Nukem actually had a game to start with, and they did eventually actually come up with product, and they always improving it.
And they went across several different companies.
True, but how long did it take for them?
11 years, I think.
Yeah.
But you had a game to start with that you could play. And I don't think they went crowdfunding and all that and made $200 million and did nothing and were arrogant about it. Like, Duke Nukem actually came out with a game, and I think that a lot of the guys that were working on other games at the time as well, weren't they?
I'm not really sure. I didn't follow it that closely.
It was...
I'm still waiting for Half-Life.
You mean Half-Life 2?
Half-Life 3. It's never happening.
Yeah.
There was 15 years for Duke Nukem Forever to fight after 15 years of development.
Oh, well.
And there was some lawsuits apparently with Take-Two as well.
That was for the second game, not for the first. Having raised $200 million.
Right. Yep.
This has been going for 6 years or whatever, and they haven't even put one. Like, I produced a Noughts and Crosses game in high school in 1 month.
Using BASIC?
No. Haskell.
What was your computer?
I think it was 886.
Nice.
Going back in the days. My game was only pretty basic with the graphics and so forth, but yeah, I had 3-dimensional X's, O's and the board and so forth. One of the guys who was seriously out of control overachiever made it into a 3-dimensional Star Wars themed space battle. So yeah, it was just even had music in his one and sound effects. Very
nice, very impressive.
So, big shout out to Brendan if he ever listens. Much respect. But I think we might want to move on from this, because this is just going to be, otherwise it'll be as much of a saga as the waste of humanity.
You feeling your blood start to boil there, Bucky?
I'm just over idiots and morons and all that with all the stuff that's happening. But yeah, let's look at human rights groups are calling for a killer robot ban. Don't know if you guys have had a look through this and seen much about it, but there's a group called Human Rights Watch, and Harvard Law School's International Human Rights Clinic have once again been issuing calls for a complete ban on killer robot systems, which are autonomous weapon systems. So yeah, have instead of having just a landmine, you have a sensor which has got gun turrets, so forth.
They won't stop me.
So yeah, they're having another. They've had an event last year, and they're having another one this year with delegates from around the world. They've got countries like they've got people from Amnesty International and countries. I think I saw Egypt and France have registered opposition to creating any legally binding prohibitions of such weapons. So yeah, the United Nations Arms Committee is all producers of guns, and they're all here registering protesting any prohibitions. We got the United States, France, Great Britain, Israel, South Korea, Russia. They don't say China, though. China's probably just not even bothering to respond.
I'm pretty sure they have autonomous gun turrets on the Korean border.
Yeah.
I remember reading that somewhere, except they're not allowed to put them into autonomous mode. But they're produced by Samsung.
Okay.
Who also makes a Samsung Galaxy, which is the military model, like reinforced, has military grade encryption. Turns out Samsung's a huge military contractor, not just for the Koreans, but a lot of people.
Yeah. Apparently, I just noticed here, apparently China has called, I missed this when I was reading this earlier on, China has called for a new protocol that would prohibit the use of fully autonomous weapons. I guess they don't like competition. But yeah, like looking through this article, it's just pretty embarrassing for humanity, like with the use of poisonous gas as well as autonomous weapon systems. We're killing each other off and destroying the planet in a pretty bad way.
Yep. Although, guys, mind you, this is in relation. Although, mind you, Elon Musk and a couple of companies last year and the year before have all pledged that they will they want an outright ban of killer robots.
That's just because they don't want anyone to compete with them, really. They all know Elon is the Bond villain of this universe.
At least he does it with style.
Except for when he calls cave rescuers pedos. But and they really shouldn't let him have the ad anymore.
No.
But as far as like the giant killer robots that you've posted in here, I'm sorry, but all you need to defeat that is a cyborg. That's what happened in RoboCop.
Yeah.
So one day, do you reckon we'll see a Gundam one day?
No.
No, not for a long time.
Giant humanoid robots are incredibly inappropriate for any sort of combat. They're basically useless because being that large, all they can do is trip over. The physics just don't work out.
The best robot system I've seen for combat was a six-legged, like for operating on legs, had 6 legs, and that it could climb. Otherwise, it's too unstable. Even on streets, it just they overbalance.
So, what do you guys reckon? Do you reckon these companies like Elon Musk and Google and all these guys all calling for outright bans, and they saying they promised not to make any of these killing machines? Do you reckon it's inevitable they will make it in the end, though?
Yeah, but see, like the US government itself turned around and pushed for a ban on biological and chemical weapons, so forth like that. But they're one of the largest researchers into it. So it's after they had massive amounts of research, they put a ban on it so nobody else in the world could compete with them, and they're still doing research, and they get busted for it every now and again. So it's going to happen. It's going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
The technology's there. All it is a matter of just putting it together.
Someone's going to do it.
Yeah. So, it's an inevitability that nobody likes.
Well, if you look at the weapon systems on some of the ships and aircraft, the reality is a human has almost nothing to do. The targets are selected by someone by one person back in a room somewhere on the other side of the planet. And you can also set it to facial recognition with some of the drones, apparently. So, yeah, they've got the drone flying along, does facial recognition, and it launches an attack. So, I'm sorry, but it's already there and being used.
Yeah.
So I'd rather be shot with a bullet than a missile. But it's good to see that there are people actually out there trying to curb a new arms race.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good it will be, though. I know we're technically living in the safest, least violent time in history, but it feels like a lot of things are just building up at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've got nuclear weapons being rebuilt again, drone tech as well, it's coming up.
I've got the US pulling out of the Iran deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now all those little countries are going to be like, well, if the US isn't going to keep its word, let's make nukes.
Yeah, and America's biggest, worst-kept secret is railgun technology that can fire munitions about the size of a car, I think it is. They haven't managed to reduce the size of it enough. But yeah, like they joke about it in the movies, but apparently the reality is it's just they haven't got it shrunk down in size. So could you imagine them using a railgun to launch a nuclear warhead?
Yeah. Even with nukes, the only way to actually stop a nuke launch is to stop it while it's still accelerating. You can't defend it against a nuke once it's coming back down at you.
Yep. All those anti-ballistic missile defense systems actually are expected to fail.
Yeah.
Because you've got to shoot to where the missile is going to be, and the calculations are just too much for any of the systems at present.
And they're moving at several times the speed of sound.
Well, that's the reason why it's impossible. Like the calculations that have got to be done, it's just they can't put enough stuff out there to destroy any of the missiles in time.
So you guys reckon, like, so space programs like the Star Wars program that America has at the moment, it's bound to fail?
No,
Star Wars was officially ended, wasn't it?
It was, well, officially never took off, but the idea is to shoot them while they're still launching.
Yeah.
That's what the Star Wars program was about.
And other stuff like satellite-mounted weaponry, which is technically illegal under the
proliferation agreement.
Actually, no, I believe that's only for nuclear weapons. But it would not surprise me at all if someone somewhere has a satellite that is WMD, just waiting for the time to launch it, because he's going to tell them not to.
Yeah, and you can use satellites themselves as weapons.
Yeah.
Those things do tend to make a bit of a dent on concrete when they hit the ground. But enough of the
depressing war talk.
Let's move on to something else. The DJs talk about violence at the Olympics.
Okay, so earlier this week, the Olympic CEO Thomas Bach has said that he will not accept esports in the Olympic Games.
And that is Thomas Bach, as in B-A-C-H, but
yeah.
The composer, not Bach. No relation.
Okay, he basically said that the so-called killer games which promote violence or discrimination cannot be accepted into games. Even though he said this during the Asia Games, and esports was in it.
I'm getting sick and tired of computer games being abused by idiots that don't know what they're doing and talking about.
Yeah. He further states that, of course, every combat sport has its origins in real fight among people, but sport is the civilized expression about this.
So how does he respond about boxing? Because I'm sorry, like, even putting the pads on the head and wearing the boxing gloves, you still do massive amounts of damage to the brain. So how is it that we can't have violent computer games, but we can go out and cause brain damage?
You know, there's actually a thing about that. Gloved boxing is more likely to cause brain damage than bare knuckle boxing, because it makes it so that when you punch something hard, like somebody's face, you don't break your hand.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I used to do boxing, but yeah, like when they're wearing the head guards and all that are supposed to reduce the impact. Yeah, it's still the jolt and the shake of the punches. And when you actually see a professional boxer throw a punch, that's a heck of a lot of force.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's a reason why you don't see many old boxers that aren't brain damaged.
Yeah. But yeah, for this though, I think he's saying this in relation to what happened in Jacksonville recently, when an idiot decided to go nuts and shoot people.
Okay, well, there's a video on YouTube about some woman going crazy because she didn't get her nuggets at McDonald's. Are they going to ban junk food from being sold at the venues?
That's the problem. Like, people are just getting. This is just a knee-jerk reaction, basically. And you're right. You're right. It's a Madden game, and but hang on a second. Here, it's also said that this will be the biggest hurdle. If they can get rid of the whole violence thing, then it's good. So it's not lost, really. Another 2 more years.
I do think that's funny that they're not, they're just immediately discounting all the non-violent competitive games.
Mm. One of the lines I find really interesting in the article, though, is blood in video games is the problem. The line to violence can be blurry, but when it comes to blood, it's easy to define.
What?
So basically non-bloody violence.
So if you do the computer game and you just no blood appearing, you can still do Fortnite and so forth, just no blood and gore.
You know, that's kind of fair, because when you do the approval under the ESRB or the PEGI or whoever's doing your age ratings, they do take into account the impact of the violence and how realistic it is, which is why something like Fortnite is probably lower rated than PUBG, because PUBG has blood.
Yeah.
But have you seen, once again, coming back on boxing here, I reckon it's a great sport and a lot of respect for boxers out there. But the amount of blood that those guys come out with, like they have guys called cut men who help to provide cuts around the eyes and so forth, so that people can keep seeing. And then I think it was I can't remember which Olympic it was. There was a gymnast, I think it was, who had an accident and broke their leg or something in the middle of a routine.
Yep.
And
you mean
that was pretty graphic.
You mean the 2016 Olympics? Yeah, it was painful too. It was the first.
There was no blood, but I can guarantee everybody watching it out there would have been going, "Ooh, that hurt."
But there are some non-violent computer esports games they can put on in the Olympics, like FIFA.
Thanks for saying what I said about 3 minutes ago.
We can put Candy Crush.
Hold on, I'll be back. I just got to go kill someone real quick.
Who? The person who created Candy Crush? Hey, come on. My auntie loves Candy Crush. We could have a whole new division of Olympic competitors.
All middle-aged women with iPhones.
The middle-aged and senior citizen females out there that love Candy Crush and are the champions of the sport. Come on, let's represent. Let's get them up there. Let's have a grandma carrying the Olympic flag.
That would really Australian Institute of Sport have a Candy Crush division.
But I would actually be more interested in watching that than rhythmic gymnastics. I'm sorry, but like the lawn bowls is more interesting than the rhythmic.
Can you also imagine a Clash of Clans division?
No, because that's violent.
Oh, right.
You can't have Clash of Clans.
My favorite Olympic story though is from, I think I must have read it in a Horrible Histories book. It's about a wrestling match from the ancient Greek Olympics, where the match had gone on for hours and it was getting dark, so they put them into sudden death and told them, you get one punch each, then we will judge the winner. So one guy took his punch and punched the other guy, but didn't do a whole lot of damage. Then the other guy punched with his hand flat like a blade, which tore into the guy's belly, then punched again and pulled out his guts and killed him. And he got disqualified because he took 2 punches.
I can understand if he's broken by taking 2 punches, but in the ancient Greek Olympics, a lot of the competitors who didn't win were killed. A lot of the early wrestling matches, it was to the death. So it wasn't like this all beautiful sports thing as it is now. It was lethal combat for a lot of it. Like they used to fight with spears and swords. And
the baton in the relay was a flaming torch.
Yeah.
And they were all naked.
Actually,
yeah.
The javelin throw was actually at a moving target, which was either a goat or a slave.
Yes, and on that point, javelins and discus and shot put, all of those sort of sports are all based around violence because they're all hunting tools or weapons.
Yeah, well, shot put was actually for fighting and defense, throwing rocks and cannonballs at the enemy.
And it's pretty obvious what you use a javelin for.
Yeah. Yep.
They're not very good for hunting.
Oh, really?
No. Because with all the aiming and so forth, it's more a matter of warfare. If you're going to hunt using a spear, it's usually better to get in close. Throwing the spear at whether it's a deer or whatever, unless it's a large animal like a buffalo or something like that, yeah, you're better off just holding on to the spear. There's actually been studies done where they've investigated hunting in terms of with spears and so forth, just out of curiosity to see what was the process. And yeah, holding your spear, you had better success than if you threw it, because if you threw it, you actually lost most of the force when it was traveling through the air. And it also, as you threw it, the spear traveling made noise, so it alerted the animal and they ran. So your spear landed on the ground and it could break. Whereas if you stab it, the spear breaks, you've still got hold of part of the shaft, so you can stab it again. So we do digress there. I apologize.
Yep.
That's okay. But as back to the topic though, so the organizer of the Asian Games, after doing the demonstration of esports in the Asia Games, expressed their sympathy for the victims, but the head of the Asia Electronic Sports Federation, Kenneth Fook, FOK, oh my god, those names, blamed the US gun laws and not the impact of esports on the shooter, saying, I think this is a bigger issue of gun control and the access to guns, which is fair.
Oh no, not the gun debate. Not the gun debate. Abort.
But yeah,
I
but
mean, let's not go there. Too many.
yeah,
idiots.
let's not go. I know it's. I find it hilarious how people are saying after this shooting incident, oh yes, let's blame guns, let's blame violent video games, let's blame everything. Oh
Yeah, but there's research that shows it's not video game.
yeah, and also here's the other funny thing: it's a Madden game. It's the shooter was shooting people after a Madden game. Are you gonna see like people protesting ban Madden or ban FIFA?
Hang on a sec. Didn't I say it's the jocks that are the more violent people playing sport? Madden games are all jock games. So this guy was a jock wannabe. Problem solved. It's all sport.
Ban sport. I mean,
ban football and box and.
Let's ban contact sports. Let's ban contact sports.
No. Let's ban the 100-meter rush because you got people out there. No, seriously. They actually had a 100-meter race somewhere for one of the world championships or something, and two of the guys were arguing with each other, and they got into a punch-up at the starting line.
Really?
Had the race and got into another punch-up at the end.
let's not forget about Oscar Pistorius.
Yeah, well, come on, the Blade Runner.
But that's after.
No. He even had the name Blade. Like, that's violence.
Oh, you think that part? That's fair.
Like, come on. Like, if we're going to start pointing fingers, like, we'll point back at you guys. We're better. We're smarter. We haven't got brain damage from being punched out and dropped on our heads as much.
So, okay. So I've looked at the list. So there's all these contact sports in the Olympics. So boxing, judo, karate, rugby 7, shooting, taekwondo, and wrestling. Which would be the one sport that you would ban? Like if they say like let's ban all sports and stuff, but keep a contact sport just for show, you know.
I would ban bridge. Because that's a sport that they've had at the Olympics.
Wait, bridge is
It's
bridge
a
isn't
card game.
Yeah, bridge is an Olympic sport in what?
It was for a few years. The International Chess Federation was like, come on, guys, you let bridge in, but not us.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, so what do you reckon, guys? Which sport would you ban?
Lawn bowls.
Lawn bowls.
That's shot put for a senior citizen. Instead of putting from over the shot, it's underarm bowling. And the Kiwis don't like it when you bowl underarm.
I see what you did there, Buck. I see what you did there. Oh.
And there you go, folks. Miracles never cease. You heard it first, right here tonight. What a joke, first time around.
Oh, the underarm. Oh, the Chapel Brothers. Oh.
But yeah, look, honestly, I think these guys need to go back and rethink their statements and their position because it's pretty ridiculously stupid. Like looking through here, there's so many pitfalls in what they're saying. Like they can't have it because it's violent, but they got shooting, boxing, all sorts of other violent stuff. But yeah, you can't have it because it's violent. Can't have it because there's blood. Once again, rugby 7s, boxing, judo, gymnastics.
Frankly, they're on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
I think these guys should have just all go hide back under whatever flat rock they crawled out from under.
Yeah.
Stop polluting the gene pool of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
This is a buck rant. Yes, I'm sorry.
As the people get out.
all the idiots that shouldn't be talking and pretending that they're intelligent, please just go away. Stop stealing oxygen for the people who are intelligent.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you on
That's
this one. Yeah.
I don't have to shoot you then. But moving along, because otherwise we're going to have someone come and bomb us. I'm pretty sure. Games this week. DJ, did you play any games at all?
I didn't play anything. Oh.
Why not? Even I was playing games on my mobile phone. But you haven't played a game on your mobile phone?
Nope. But I have been watching just games anime. That's all I've been doing.
You bloody weeb.
Hey,
Here we are, working hard to make content for our podcast, and you're just sitting there being a weeb.
I'm working on assignments and everything else, and I still find time to play games. How dare you call yourself a nerd?
Hey, Overlord anime, such a good anime.
You can't even spend like an hour playing a game.
Oh, I knew you guys are gonna roast me on this.
Sorry, folks. I just had to boot him off for a little bit.
We're going to need a new DJ.
We do have a position available. If you play games at least once a week and consider yourself a nerd, enjoy anime, and are fun to talk to.
And an intelligence above 70.
Well,
not the most important criteria we have.
We didn't set it that high for DJ, did we?
Hey, I can hear you guys. Oh,
but yeah, okay. So the DJ had an epic fail.
Hey, I saw anime. That was good.
You sound like Beaker from the Muppets.
Yeah, the Swedish chef.
Actually,
yeah.
I saw it. No, from the scientist, not the Swedish chef. But talking about that, sorry for diverging, but I gotta say this one because it was funny. Apparently, in Sweden, they refer to the Swedish chef as the Norwegian chef.
Huh?
Yeah, they have it with subtitles and all that, even though most Swedish people speak English. And so it comes through, and it's the Norwegian chef. So can you imagine it though, if the Swedish people, like we make fun of the Swedes, they go when they go across the border into Norway and start making fun of the Norwegians by going, the Norwegians are sitting there going, my God, they really do talk like that.
I found a report in relation to that later.
It was actually a comedian I saw during the week, and that was his line, and it was just, I'm sorry, it was just brilliant.
I know it was brilliant, but check out the article and just start laughing.
We'll have the link posted in the show notes by the DJ. He's done nothing else all week, so he can do something useful now.
Nobody likes the Swedes. There's a law in Denmark that if a Swede walks across the ocean when it freezes, the Danish can hit them with sticks.
Huh?
They limit the size of the stick.
I don't believe so.
Because I've seen some pretty big, strong Danish guys, so I could see them hitting them with a tree branch. And considering the ocean's frozen, the tree branches would be frozen solid as well, like all the moisture. So that would hurt. It'd be like being hit by a steel club.
And they're all Vikings, so...
Well, they're all Norse. They're all pretty violent people, history. But they're nice, lovely people.
Didn't you hear about the time the Vikings saved hundreds of artifacts from a monastery after everyone died and it was about to burn down?
Oh, yeah. No, hey, if it wasn't for the Norse people, then science would still be stuck in the Dark Ages. They pushed it. They actually fought for scientific research. They put their lives on the line to break us out of the Dark Ages. But
yeah.
Moving along, Professor, what game did you play this week?
Warhammer Vermintide 2.
Ooh, I had a bit of a look at this during the week. It is looking nice.
Yes, it's basically Left 4 Dead, but Warhammer fantasy theme.
Have you cut anyone's head off yet with a sword or an axe? Because apparently that's what it's to aim for.
Yes, I've done it several times. And my new... I was playing as Victor Saltpire, I think. He is a witch hunter, and I just unlocked a new ranged weapon for him, which is basically a mini Gatling gun. It's a revolver, but shaped like a Gatling gun, and it has an alternative fire that fires all barrels at once.
Oh, that's going to leave a bit of a mark. But I was looking at some of the stuff, as I said, during the week, and I love the graphics, and the dwarf was so much fun. The DJ's gone quiet. What's he up to?
I'm just enthralled listening to you guys talk about Warhammer.
It's unusual for you to be quiet. But it's like when you have a house full of children and they all go quiet, it's like something's wrong.
Your mother instinct's kicking in.
Well, uncle. My uncle instinct. I got nephews and nieces, and because they're all related to me, they're likely to be up to no good doing something they shouldn't be doing. But yeah, no. Give us a rundown on the premise of the story of what it's about.
Well, it's the sort of generic Warhammer story, ever-encroaching darkness and a group of heroes fighting against it.
Okay.
And so I haven't played a whole lot of the story yet, but the parts of it I have played are the tutorial and what seems to be the first mission.
Mm-hmm.
The tutorial has the main characters about to be sacrificed. And, have you seen the Warcraft movie?
Yes.
And at the start, they're all getting ready to jump through the portal.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically that scene, except as the heroes, you escape before you get sacrificed.
Awesome. Now, in the tutorial I saw, was in a dungeon. You're rolling down an overhead track in a cage or something.
Yeah, that's the opening cutscene. You roll down there past the portal, and then you get freed by your thing coming loose and breaking, and then you travel around the enemy base, smashing Skaven and rescuing the other characters.
With a hammer?
Yes.
So, yeah, they won't allow that at the Olympics because that's too violent, I'm sorry. Plus, people would actually be watching that rather than rhythmic anything else. But yeah, no, definitely a game worth looking out for and getting hold of from what I've seen. And do you recommend the same there?
Yeah, I do recommend it.
Do you recommend it, DJ?
Yeah. I've seen some reviews of that game.
Have you looked at it and actually done anything? No, of course not.
I've seen
Get
it.
off the bandwagon, DJ.
Moving along. The idiot hasn't played a game he doesn't get in, and we call him an idiot. I'm sorry.
I've seen Angry Joe reviews.
Sorry, no cross pollination and advertising unless you pay. Speaking, alrighty. I played Warhammer 40k Space Marine this week, which was a whole lot of fun. Unlike a lot of the other 40k games, it's not the strategy as such a first-person shooter where you get to run around as an ultramarine and bash up the orc.
I remember that one being I seem to remember it having some mixed reviews when it came out. So now, 10 years later, what do you think of it?
I loved it then and I love it now. It is so much fun. Running around as a space marine with all the different weapons, things you can do. So you actually get to go around with a jetpack and jump up and fly up into the air for the jumps and then slam onto the ground and daze your enemies and kill them and tear them apart in quite a bloodthirsty manner. And yes, there is a lot of blood and gore, so your blue armor does end up looking quite red at different times, but then it just magically... So it mustn't be blood, it must be just lighting. But yeah, I played it on PlayStation back in the day when it first came out, and it was just on... They had a big Warhammer situation on Humble Bundle, and I picked it up from there. So yeah, definitely a lot of fun. Great way to kill a couple of hours here and there. But yeah, this is where we would have actually been speaking a bit more time because about other games, and the DJ didn't have a game. Thank you very much.
Out of curiosity, Buck, did you get the DLCs as well?
Not yet. I'm gonna pursue those. I want to run through the entire thing, but it's I never had this on the PlayStation, but on the PC, you actually get online play where you play against other players, and you get to expand the skill level and weaponry and armor of your character. So you get to play as a Space Marine or a Space Marine, a Chaos Space Marine or a Space Marine.
For the Emperor!
Blood is the Emperor's currency. Spend it well.
I'm always more of an Imperial Guard kind of guy.
Well, they have the Imperial Guards in this as in a supporting role, which is how they were most of the time. But yeah, so we got some shout outs. You were talking about someone just before we started doing the recording for this podcast, Professor. Should we give them a mention and a staged farewell?
Yes, the reports seem to be that Terry Davis, wasn't it?
Can't remember his name. It was the God.
Close the link. Hold on a moment.
Well,
yes, Terry A. Davis, the developer of Temple OS, the Christian computer operating system, has passed away recently.
Mm-hmm. So, what were some of the things he was famous for apart from the Christian OS?
Well, his most famous things is going out and ranting about computers and stuff on forums.
Mm-hmm. And he created the Christian OS or Temple OS because God told him to.
Yeah. Apparently he had schizophrenia, but that manifested in him thinking he was told to make a Christian OS. I don't know what's more Christian about his operating system than Microsoft Windows.
Well, at one point, Uncle Bill was referred to as the Antichrist.
True.
So, therefore, it's got to be more Christian. And it's not Apple. And we all know the apples are evil because Eden and Apple got them kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Apparently. But, yeah, sad news. Might have had some mental health issues, but obviously...
I mean, it's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
He would go around... he had some really odd ideas. Like, he thought that part of God's will was that his operating system should be in 640 by 480 and nothing more, nothing less, because that is God's will.
Okay, well, you can't argue if that's what it is, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
It also helps for the older people that have vision problems and so forth and can't read the small print.
I'm not sure it does, really.
The print's always pretty large, but if that sort of setting, I think.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But
he also made his own programming language, Holy See.
Did the Vatican take a bit of offense at that?
Not that I know of.
That's how they refer to the Pope. Is the Holy Seed or Holy See or something?
The Holy See.
Yeah. But moving along, events of interest this week. We have 79 years since Poland was invaded on the 1st of September 1939. The first automatic teller machine opens for business on the 2nd of September 1969. 31st of August, we had Jack the Ripper's first victim in 1888. He wouldn't be allowed at the Olympics again, would he?
No, I don't think murdering people has ever been a real Olympic sport.
If it was, then Attila the Hun and Stalin would have been world champion.
Yep.
31st of August, 1955, first solar-powered car. Okay. Would have been fun to see driving around.
Yeah. And we're still working on making them actually work.
Oh, they've got some that go, they're always improving them, but they've got them going at pretty decent performance
levels. You can go from Darwin to Adelaide in one, but it has to be this tiny little single-seater, aerodynamic. The entire top of it's shaped entire top is covered in solar panels, sort of thing.
Are you talking about that certain race that happens every? It's an annual race, right?
No, I'm talking about the other race that happens between Darwin and Adelaide in solar-powered cars.
And it just happens to happen every year. Yeah, you just walked into a brick wall there, didn't you? Did it hurt?
Oh, it did really hurt. The World Solar Challenge, yeah. That's the one.
Yeah. 2nd of September 1945, Japan signs the Japanese Instrument of Surrender, officially ending World War II.
Yes, which is also known as VJ Day for victory in Japan.
Mm-hmm. Although, actually, that was only the Instrument of Surrender. It wasn't the final wrap-up of the war from memory. It was, because that was still the cessation. Let's put my false teeth back in. The cessation of hostilities and everything was still considered active almost a decade later, because that allowed the Americans to take control of Japan.
Yeah,
Do what they wanted.
But we encourage you to celebrate VJ Day by following the tradition of grabbing the nearest nurse and snogging her in front of a cameraman.
I'm quite happy to do that. I've seen some very attractive.
Well, my girlfriend's a nurse. I'm going to go see her this weekend, so I'm set.
Okay. DJ? Sorry. Moving along. 3rd of September, Miyoko Asu passes away. I hope I got that right.
Yeah. She's the voice actress for Fullmetal Alchemist, and in Fullmetal Alchemist and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood as Pinako, the tiny grandmother.
Okay. That was the 3rd of September 2018. So, yeah, sad farewell to someone who brought a lot of people a lot of enjoyment and fun. Famous birthday. We have September 4, 1960, Damon Wayans, the actor who was in Living Colour, Major Payne, Blank Man, and many other things, including Lethal Weapon, the TV series. The man who took the story of the little engine that could and made it into a violently horrifying, nightmare-ridden account. If you ever watched the Major Payne movie, you'll understand. September 4, 1962, we have Shinya Yamanaka, the Japanese physician who won the Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine, was born in Osaka.
Yes, we don't have a link there for him, but I'm just looking him up to see what he actually did for his Nobel. He's a stem cell researcher.
Yeah, okay. Happy birthday to the gentleman. What else? Sorry, technical issues there, folks. We also have Joe DiMaggio, the American voice actor and comedian.
Oh, you mean John DiMaggio?
Sorry, John DiMaggio. Had his birthday on September 4th. He was born in 1968. What was he famous for, DJ?
Voice acting Bender the Robot from Futurama, Jake the Dog from Adventure Time, which ended actually 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. A lot of voice acting roles he was famous for. What else was he?
Bender's famous line is "Kiss my shiny metal butt."
You mean bite my belt?
He's in Disenchanted as well.
Yeah.
As Lucy the Demon. No, King Zog, actually.
King Zog. Yeah.
Okay.
I just looked him up to double check who he was, and I never realized he looks like a fat. Who am I thinking of?
Utah.
I had the name in my head, and a fat Sean Bean.
So how come his characters don't die out really quickly? Because Sean Bean has never seen the end of any of his movies, has he?
He saw the end of The Martian.
Sean Bean?
Yeah.
He survived to the end of a movie.
Yeah. His career didn't.
How the hell did he survive to the end of a movie? He's been killed off in everything else he's appeared in.
Well, he was working for NASA, and NASA was just... They don't kill people who work for NASA on Earth normally.
I don't know. They've had a number of dodgy accidents. They could have killed him off somehow. I'm disappointed. How dare they let him survive to the end of a movie?
Well, they did kill his career, so he's got that.
Wait, what do you mean killed his career?
Well, in The Martian, he was basically broke the rules to help get Mark Watney home, and as part of that, like going against orders, they fired him.
Well, there you go. They killed something. That's good. At least there's some sort of status quo there. You start getting nervous. They've got to kill something about Sean Bean and everything he's in. Even that, there was a TV series he did where he's an English officer in India. He got lots of things killed off at different times there. Another birthday for this week was Freddie Mercury. Had his birthday, born September 5th, 1946 in Stone Town, Tanzania. Something that a lot of people don't often realize. His real name was Farouk Bulsara. So, yeah, a little bit of trivia there for you guys. And cause of death was bronchopneumonia as a complication of AIDS in 1991.
Are you hyped for that Freddie Mercury bio movie that's coming up soon?
Well, it's not just Freddie Mercury. It's all the
Queen in general.
Yeah.
I am hyped for it, yes.
What's the movie called? Bohemian Rhapsody. Is it Bohemian?
Yes, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
And all the other songs he's famous for.
Mm-hmm.
And even as a gay guy, he still sings about the benefits of fat-bottomed girls.
Well, he actually had, I've got in here partners. One was Mary Austin from 1970 to 1976, and then Jim Hutton from 1985 to 1991. So I think he's probably more bisexual. Gay.
Yeah.
But amazingly talented guy, and changed a lot of the stuff with music in fantastic. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I've got down on my list here. I haven't missed anything, have I?
No, nothing. No.
You guys haven't got anything further you want to add? No surprise stories?
No. I got nothing. No.
What? Well, there you go, folks. when the DJ doesn't play a game, and we actually get through it in a reasonable time. So yeah, that's it for another week. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twit. Where are we?
At an amalgamated.
That's on Twitter for those who understand. And what's our email address?
Nerds.amalgamated@gmail.com.
And where can they find our podcasts in all the various locations? What are they? Come on.
iTunes, Stitcher.
And that's it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we're part of That's Not Canon Productions. So there's plenty of other podcasts out there. One of which was, what was the new one that they've got? A glass of wine? Wine and dine?
Yeah, a glass of wine.
A glass of wine.
Featuring drunk people ranting about stuff.
Sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, Fred, please check out some of the other shows. And we also have our merchandise. We've got a couple of options available there at the moment for designs.
Yes, some new designs this week.
So, yeah, please let us know what you think. We're also considering the idea of maybe running a competition. Let us know what you'd like as a prize. Be realistic. I'm a broke uni student, so I haven't got a huge amount of money, but we'll try and organise some sponsorship if needed. And what you'd like the competition to be. Make it fun. Don't make it painful. And let us know any feedback you want. We're happy to hear from you. And before we actually vanish, though, we do actually have to give a quick shout out to somebody else who actually gave us a shout out. We got to return the love. Who was that, TJ?
Her name is Sherry Gladman of Great Australia Pods. Just give me a second.
Great Australian Pods?
Yeah, Great Australian Pods. Yes. So, yeah.
She's given us a nice shout out. Talked about our podcast on our website.
Yeah. So Great Australia Pods is basically a podcast directory for podcast enthusiasts and those who are just discovering the joys of podcasts. So yeah, pretty cool to get a shout out from.
And I think we're the only That's Not Canon people on there.
Really? Wow. It's amazing.
Thank you very much, Sherry Ann or Sherry Gladman.
Sherry, yeah.
Well, it's got Sherry Ann here as well, so yeah. Thank you very much, and we'll have to follow you, I guess. Can you organise that, DJ?
Yeah, sure, man, sure.
Thank you. But otherwise, that's it. So long. Good night. Farewell.
See you next week.
See you guys.